Phew. A round of applause for your good selves, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. What a day. Indeed, Africa is rising. And I'm happy to be here. Morning getting into afternoon. It's afternoon already. So I'm happy to be here. Obviously excited. And it's an awesome day today. I would want for us to celebrate one great man who has put this together as the host, bringing Africans in one room to celebrate transformational leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's put our hands together for Dr. Linus Okorie. Dr. Linus, thank you very much for bringing all of us together under one umbrella to celebrate this great continent of ours. Her Excellency Dr. Erica Bennett, Honorable Sheena Pella, my good friend, thanks so much for joining us from Nigeria. President of Godney, Mr. Solomon Queno, Vice President of Private Sector Infrastructure and Industrialization of the African Development Bank, ADB. And sir, that was a very powerful message. Of course, from a development bank that is seeking to put Africa on the map and is doing that in an awesome way. Thank you for that great message to us, sir. Dr. Charles Opoku Fojo, can you give us a wave? We've had some great discussion this morning. Although we're here in Ghana, like I said, this summit has brought us together to network. And I'll urge each and every one of you to take advantage of that. Thank you, Dr. Charles Opoku Fojo, CFO of the Lumiere Group, for coming. Mr. George Fraser, who is the founder and CFO of FraserNet. Thank you. Mr. Benoit Messi, and that was a great presentation from you, Mr. Messi, from the Afri-Exim Bank. And clearly, I also have some thoughts on intra-Africa trade. And I believe that we should be getting on some trade, partnership as we move on. Of course, for the media sector. Also, I would like to acknowledge Reverend Dr. Yvonne Tony Lack. Thank you. Dr. Linus Okorie, you are a visionary, sir, and we celebrate you. All esteemed delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you and good afternoon. Here in Ghana, we say Akwaba, and it means welcome. You're truly home, and I wish for you to experience the great Ghanaian hospitality. Being here today to talk about the vital role that communications and the media play in Africa's transformation is a true honor and privilege for me. Because for somebody who's been in the media practice for 25 years, I deem it a great honor and humbling enough to share what the stratosphere, if you want, and also the media landscape looks like, not just in Ghana, but in Africa, and how we can actually play a pivotal role, coming together as people of Africa to tell the African story positively. For me, this morning into the afternoon is a true honor and privilege, because I'm here with some of the continent's most brilliant thinkers and inspiring leaders. It makes me feel humbled. Yesterday, I was a special guest at the Third Africa Media Convention, the AMC, bringing all media practitioners right here on this continent under one roof at the Accra International Conference Center. The conference's theme was enhancing freedom, innovation, and environmental sustainability in our dynamic media landscape. I found it refreshing because it falls in line with my presentation today, talking about leveraging media and communication for Africa's transformation, and also a topic which is dear to my heart. As the CEO of EIB Network, which is a media group here in Ghana, with 7 radio stations and 2 television stations, 10 years ago, we set out a dream to change the African story and the African narrative. And I'm happy that we are a proud sponsor with our television station, GH1 TV, carrying this, and also our whole EIB network, 7 radio stations reporting on this event. Our mission is simple: to tell the African story positively. Many a times we go out there and it's about stories of war, of disease, of sickness, of famine. We here in this room today should change that narrative. Now there's traditional media, there is new media. How are we using those tools by terms of technology to change our story? Which is why I have a duty and a message today to charge all of us in this room. But by the time we go back to our respective countries, we will be the change agents. I have seen firsthand the powerful impact that media and communications can have on society. And it's evident. Many of us here today, we're on our phones, we're taking pictures, we're sharing on social media. Some of us are even transmitting live on our Instagram handles. What a way to do it, because it's a digital age. Information travels at lightning speed. And we as the media, we play a crucial role in shaping public opinion, driving social change, and holding our leaders accountable. Which is why it is crucial for us as Africans in what we do, nevertheless, to be that empowering agent, to change our people's narrative. I shudder to think many a times that we're here in Africa and we're not trading amongst ourselves. Mr. Messi talked about it. Why can't Ghana take chocolates to South Africa and bring South African wine to Ghana? It is doable. It is possible. But we're rather taking the chocolates outside the shores of Africa. We are not adding value to the cocoa that we produce. How many processes of cocoa do we have here in Ghana or even in Ivory Coast? It has to go to Amsterdam, go to the Netherlands, go to Switzerland. Value is added and is brought here to Ghana. If African media will tell the story where we're getting our cocoa from, using great labor and not child labor, if our African banks will come to us and say, look, let's actually position the media to tell the African story. We will finance the media. Share that story so that we can trade amongst ourselves. How many of us know where we can get wheat from in Africa? But we are in Africa. Are we doing a lot of education and sensitization to know that I can get cocoa, I can get cashew from Ghana? Do we know that we can get some great items from Mozambique? Oil. We've seen the map of Africa where we can source coffee from. We need the media to do that. So as Africans, let's ask ourselves, what are we doing with the tool that we have in our hands as new media? We're on Snapchat, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. When it comes to trade, how are we trading? Are we going out there to buy the leather from the UK, from the US? It's fine to buy those expensive items and all of that, but are we trading amongst ourselves? This is where our banks, our finance houses, our private equity firms will need to come in, partner with the media, put adverts there, make them profitable, push them to change the African story. Well, in addition to fighting all of this, there's also false information. What we see now, many falsehoods are being peddled on our social handles. Fake news, like we call it. We are using the media, new media, to malign our own personalities as Africans. We are not celebrating them enough. And we feel that we can go somewhere, but then we welcome others who are from other parts of the world with open arms. How many Africans are celebrated in their own homes? As the media, as people, are we telling the African story? If you come to Ghana, many of our people will tell you, well, we just want to be in the background. We don't want the fame. How many of our mentors are out there sharing their story of challenges, of success, for the younger ones to also learn? Today, I charge all of us, let's be agents of change. Let's go out there and create mentors, African mentors that people can look up to. Yes, the Dangotes are there, the Elumelus are there, the Sam Jonas are there, but we need to create more. I want to see an Africa, when it's mentioned, we have 200 billionaires coming in Africa, and from all sectors. It is time we celebrate our women, we celebrate our men, we celebrate our people. It shouldn't be always pull him down, pull her down. Yes, people will make mistakes, but how do we tell the stories? This is our time to check all of that. We want to spread fake news and negative news very fast. But when people win, when they succeed, we don't celebrate them. Isn't that sad? That narrative needs to change. We must work to give a voice to the voiceless. We must support initiatives that advance equality and social justice. Are we giving the women the platform? In Africa, it's sad. They'll tell you this is a man's area, a man's forte, a woman can't do it. Says who? We need to change that. The voice of equality and advancing social justice is important. Here in Ghana, thankfully, the Ministry of Information has unveiled a new tool to combat the growing misinformation issue in this country. We have a website called Ghana Today, which is a reliable news platform that identifies and dispels false information in real time and also provides people with access to build reliable source of information. In Africa, ladies and gentlemen, we have a unique opportunity to harness the power of the media and communications for economic growth. And I'll be sharing some benefits with you as we go on. But you know what? In order to truly harness the transformative power of the media and communications, we must also address the challenges that our industry faces. And it's important, we face a lot of issues. It includes censorship, media ownership concentration, and lack of training and resources for journalists. I know Afri-Exim is import and export. I know the African Development Bank is in there. But if we are fueling and supporting agric, we're fueling trade partnership, I believe that the media should also be resourced to tell the story. I want to see an Africa and a time where AFDB, Afri-Exim, Ghana Commercial Bank will put some budget down and say, look, it's for Africa by Africans. Let's tell the story of trade. Let's tell the story of agriculture. Who to better do this? The media. And the youth will take real action when there's that call to action. I urge all of us to do that so that many of the youth out there will take delight in agriculture. They will not say, well, it's for the elderly. If there's funding and it's deliberate, many of them will use the social media that they have to tell that story. So I challenge all these great banks to actually move into that. Also, there's the International Freedom and Federation of Public Interest Media, IFPM, which is under the AU. It has been collaborating with governments, NGOs, and media organizations. My call this afternoon is that kindly, let's do more. Let's provide training and resources to journalists to enhance their skills and empower them to report accurately and ethically. As African leaders, we have a responsibility to unlock the potential of our media and also the communication sector, and to use it as a force for good in societies. By investing in quality journalism, supporting innovation, and promoting media literacy, we can drive that positive change. It takes you and I to do that. Let's create a people that are more informed, that are engaged, and also an empowered citizenry. I want to look at some of the benefits as we go ahead in leveraging media and communications for African transformation. I believe that we have the slides coming up. If we can pull them up. Right. So key strategies in terms of media and development. We promote positive narratives. You know, media outlets in Africa often focus on negative stories, like I've said, conflict, poverty, corruption. Let's highlight our success stories, innovative solutions, positive development. A lot are happening here in Africa. We've seen a lot of fintech companies coming up. How many of us are promoting our homegrown fintech solutions? We're charging you. Let's promote the positive narratives. The media can do this, you can do that, and this can help shift perceptions and also investment and partnership. Secondly, Let's also look at amplifying voices of marginalized communities. We're in this room. How many of us are telling the stories of the poor? We should actually go out there, project the women, the youth, the rural populations. It behoves on all of us to amplify their voices and share their stories, as these groups can be empowered to participate in making processes and also contribute to development of their communities. Thirdly, let's use digital platforms for advocacy and mobilization. I mentioned it earlier. Social media is a big tool for activism, for mobilization, for advocacy. Let's be that tool. Let's raise awareness about key issues and let's mobilize support for initiatives. In all of this, I'm also asking for us to build partnerships and collaborations. Why can't media houses in Ghana collaborate with their media partners in Nigeria, in Uganda, in South Africa? Let's tell the African stories within our circles. If my television station, GH1, will do a story on 10 successful Nigerians and open that market here in Ghana to them, imagine if they are in different sectors and their stories are told, whether in engineering, whether in marketing, whether in trade, in commodities. Those people can have business partners here in Ghana. Same can be done for Ghanaians in Nigeria, in Uganda, in Ethiopia, in South Africa. Please, the time is now. We have a tool. Let's collaborate. Let's partner. Let's build and work together. Pool of resources. I have young people I meet every day and they're looking out for some funding. There might be somebody in South Africa or in Nigeria, in Kenya, looking for great minds to work with. But if we don't share our stories, how can people work remotely? How can we find skilled talent? So we need to do that. Lastly, also support for independent journalism, I would want to touch on. A free and independent media is essential for democracy and its development. Leaders here, I'll urge you as governments, let's empower our people. Let's create an enabling environment for press freedom, because without that, we cannot grow. And that is what the West will use against us, that we don't have press freedom. Let's be as it is. Let them say it as it is without fear or favor. Let's promote transparency and accountability. It is only by that that we will grow. So it is important in all of this for us to look out for one another. As I conclude, I want to challenge each and every one of us. Yes, you, yes, me. I want you to think about how you can leverage the power of media and communications in your own work, in your communities. Together, we can harness the transformative power of the media to drive Africa's development, and we can create a brighter future for all. I'll start with my media group, that anyone here, if you want to do business with us or you want to network, you have a 50% discount to trade on our platforms on EIB Network. Also, our social media platforms, which aggregate over 3 million followers, is there for you to tap into. We want to build a united Africa. One day, let posterity say, one day, let our children say that yes, there were some people who lived on this planet, on this continent, and they made a difference. And that will be you and I. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.